Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It is another beautiful day here in Washington State. It is. It's a beautiful Monday evening as I'm filming this. I just got done doing some things out in the shed, cleaning off the workbench and getting it ready for a couple videos I gotta film here very soon. So keep an eye out for some content coming down the pipeline. Yeah. Anyways, thought I would give you some initial impressions and my thoughts so far on the Benchmade Bugout. I've been carrying it for 9 days, almost 10 days now, and I got some thoughts on it, so let's get into it. First of all, I want to show you the knife. This is the knife in question, Benchmade Bugout in M4, which is a nice treat. I like Benchmade M4. I have experienced it previously in the form of the Super Freak. Anyways, we've got M4 and other than that, a pretty standard Bugout, standard clip, standard scales. Before I get into giving you my current thoughts on the knife, let's get into my history with the Bugout. So, a couple years ago, when the Bugout was really popular, I mean, it's always been popular. It's always been a popular knife. But a couple years ago, when it was the talk of the town, and yeah, I didn't know really up from down in the knife world. I'm still fairly new to this whole thing, if you didn't know. But yeah, I thought the Bugout was the bee's knees. I thought that was like the pinnacle. Like that's what I wanted. I was dealing with nicer made foreign stuff, but I wanted to move into the USA made market. And yeah, I had just been hearing nothing but good things about the Bugout, the Bugout, the Bugout, the Bugout. So I went into my local sporting goods store and they had a standard Bugout, S30V, blue scales, looks just like this, just, you know, different blade. And asked the guy to see it, handled it, flipped it open, closed, you know, checked how it felt in my pocket, checked out the clip retention, you know, just how smooth it felt, and blade centering and all that kind of stuff. All the things that you usually check out before you purchase a knife, I guess. What I came away with was I did not particularly like the Bugout. It did not fit my hand. It didn't feel good. I did not like the scales, and I really didn't like the fact that you could flex the scales as much as you can. I now know that's not that big of a deal, but back then it scared me away from buying one. I actually ended up buying the Griptilian instead. This one's actually really beat up. She's been used quite a bit. But yeah, I ended up buying this that day instead. I actually spent less money on this and felt like I got more knife. I still feel that way. That has not changed. Anyways, let's fast forward to now. Things have changed a bit. I have experienced a fair amount of knives, not nearly as many as a lot of people, but you know, a fair amount in my opinion. Enough to form opinions on what I like and what I don't like. And yeah, this thing actually is pretty sweet nowadays. Now that I've experienced things like the Native 5, you know, a really awesome but lightweight knife with some rather cheap feeling scales, really. Now that I've experienced that and used this, and I know that it'll stand up to some use and some abuse, this thing has been great. This thing has been great at all my EDC tasks that I've thrown at it. Cutting tape, breaking down cardboard, the usual kind of stuff, even a little bit of food prep. Yeah, this blade is nice and thin and slicey. It is, it's a joy to break down an apple with a Bugout, in my opinion. It is. Yeah, so there are a lot of things this knife does well. There are a lot of things this knife does really well. It's a good, lightweight, small package. Yeah, it's good at what it's supposed to be good at, if that makes sense. Designed to be a nice lightweight knife that doesn't take up much room in the pocket and is reliable. It's going to work day in and day out. You know, you've got the axis lock, which some people complain about, you know, because the Omega springs are a little flimsy, but I've never had any issues with the axis lock or the Omega springs, and I am a habitual fidgeter. I like to open and close my knives. just sit around and do it. I think we all do it at some point. But yeah, and I just haven't had any issues with Omega Springs or the Axis lock. I really like the Axis lock. I think it's awesome. But yeah, back to the bug out. Let's talk about blade steel. It's CPM M4. It's Benchmade M4. I've dealt with Benchmade M4 before in the form of the Super Freak. Bought that not too long after I bought the Griptilian. I've since gifted it to my dad, and he's gotten a ton of use out of it. And I think I've had to sharpen it once in like a year of use. It's just like ridiculous. Really good edge retention. Not great corrosion resistance, and that worries me sometimes up here, but thank goodness Benchmade has put a really good coating on their M4 blades. So let's talk about the edge real quick. This is not the edge I received the knife with. There was a couple rough spots on the knife, on the edge, should I say. So all I did was took the 800 grit stone, put it on the work sharp, and touched it up just a little bit, and then hit it with the ceramic and a strop to polish it up just a little bit. And it's been slicing great, it's been cutting great. It was actually doing pretty well beforehand, but like I said, there was a couple areas on the edge that were causing it to hang up. So just wanted to smooth those out, polish it up a little bit, and that's all I really did to it. So safe to say I'm actually digging this knife so far, and I'm surprised by it, but at the same time, there are a couple things that still need fixing. One of which is the scales. That feeling that feeling has not changed. It is changed a little bit, but it's still, I just don't like the scales. They just don't fit my hand right. So I put on order a set of Applied Weapons Tech aluminum scales, which I'm really excited about. I think they're called the Archon scales, and they're going to make this thing what I always wanted it to be. It's going to unlock the potential of this knife, I think, ergonomically, and just feeling like more of a user, feeling like something I can beat on a little more and not worry about so much. Yeah, the scales are actually out for delivery right now. They should be here anytime. They should be pretty gorgeous. I got them in a pretty cool Cerakote, so burnt bronze. Yeah, burnt bronze is the color I went with. I think that'll look good with this this blade coating. I think it'll look nice. So I've never broken down, I've never taken apart, should I say, I've never taken apart a bug out. So that'll be interesting, and I'm sure everything will go fine. I can take firearms apart and put them back together, so I think a knife should be pretty fairly straightforward. Yeah, plus that's what YouTube's for. If I run into any trouble, I think I'll be perfectly capable of doing it. Hey y'all, it's later on, and got the scales installed. I filmed me doing it. I think it got about halfway through, and then the camera cut off, and I didn't know. And I am not pulling these things apart and putting it back together again just for the camera. It was a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna lie. It was my first time taking apart a Benchmade all the way. The thing I struggled with most was just getting the pivot and the washers and everything lined up, putting it back together. That was the only real difficult part, and that took me the better part of a half hour. I'm ashamed to admit it took a while, but I got it together, and it's, oh man, it is a whole different knife. Check it out. These are the burnt bronze Cerakote Archon scales, I believe they're called. Man, they look good. Give you guys some up close. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, these things feel so much better than the stock scales. I feel like I've got a heck of a lot better grip on the knife. That's for damn sure. They look amazing. I'm really digging this Cerakote color. It was actually my dad picked it out. I showed him all the Cerakote colors before I ordered these scales, and he picked out the burnt bronze, and I gotta say it looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, one more time, just look at this thing. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, Applied Weapons Tech makes some good stuff. This is my second go around with them. The first was I've still got it handy. It's one of my favorite knives I own, actually. The Readout with Applied Weapons Tech scales. Still one of my favorite knives. But yeah, this right here is just like, whew, nice, compact build. Looks really good. Real nice. Yeah. I'm digging it. Yeah, this is the Bugout in final form, for me at least. I mean, we got an M4 blade, and we got these really nice aluminum Applied Weapons Tech scales. Doesn't get any better than that. Only thing I could foresee doing is deep carry pocket clip. That would complete this thing. It would be absolutely the perfect Bugout for me. Alright, sorry again that I didn't get this whole install thing on video. I never intended to do like an install instructional video because it was going to be my first time out of the gate. I knew it was going to be rough and I was going to struggle. That was the case. So yeah, okay y'all, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for sticking with the channel. I really appreciate it. I look forward to putting this thing through the paces over the next couple weeks and sharing it with you guys. So yeah, keep an eye out for new content. Got plenty of stuff coming down the pipeline. Thanks guys. See you in the next one.